Hello and welcome to the World Food Programme Innovation Pitch Event, 30th of November, here from Munich in Germany, but also out there in the world. Like, there's people following us online, maybe hundreds or thousands, who knows. But it's great to be back in person for a hybrid pitch event, to actually have this exciting group of startups and innovations that show their best and breakthrough ideas, not only to you in this room, but also to the world out there. So thank you for joining us here. My name is Bernhard, Kowatsch, and I'm the head of the World's Food Programme's Innovation Accelerator, and it's such a pleasure to welcome you here. Why is it exciting? Because the startups and innovation that you're gonna see, they have been handpicked from about 800 submissions across the globe, and we've selected the 7 best of them. The 7 best that we have, put through a cruel program that we call Innovation Bootcamp. And this is now the grand finale, where you see what has happened to them, how far is their innovation scalable, and what impact can they have for vulnerable people that are suffering from climate change across the world. And today is really exciting for me also because this is the very first time that we have a dedicated program focused on climate action. So climate action, so the innovations and startups that you're gonna see are focusing, how can you actually tackle climate change for people who are suffering from hunger across the globe right now. Now, if you're following us online or also here in the room, you're allowed to use your mobile phone to follow us on LinkedIn or Twitter or any other social media platform that you like. And also engage with us online in our posts. I mean, I'm still looking forward. Some people have sent in business ideas after the pitches. Maybe do this. Like, what inspires you? What do you want to do next? Is there an idea or an innovation that you know maybe that's even better that you want to start or fund? Or I mean, I think we've had pledges in the room that people say, I want to fund this startup. Feel free to do so, but you can also do that in social if you feel like doing that. Now, if you think about climate change, you might say, what's the relevance for global hunger? Now, some of you may know this, but about 1/3 of human-made greenhouse gases are actually represented by the complete agri-food system. So that's everything from the farm to when it lands on your plate. Now, of course, when we talk about climate change, we should be talking about 1/3 of climate greenhouse gases that are out there in the world. At the same time, there is now an increase of people marching towards starvation. 345 million people that are in acute hunger right now, and that's more than double than in 2019. And the root cause of that increase is because of conflict, climate change, COVID-19, but also because of other aspects like rising food and fuel prices most recently. But climate change is one of those problems that if you're already in a vulnerable situation, if you're already suffering from hunger, it's going to hit you again. Talking about East Africa, where you have like a 4th or maybe even a 5th like failed harvest, like you're talking about like livelihoods that maybe have been okay, but now are at risk, and we need to tackle this. We need innovations to actually make it happen and change the lives of some of the most vulnerable and hungry people out there. Now, as World Food Programme, you may know us, we're saving lives and changing lives across the world in about 120 countries and territories. But one of the activities that the 23,000 staff across the world are doing is actually working on climate change, on anticipating what is happening so we can respond earlier or take action before disasters strike. But also to then adapt and influence once people have been hit, like the damages and the losses that occur after natural disasters or the droughts. Now, these are the types of activities that are already happening, but this is also why we now decided that we want to actually focus on our very first cohort of climate change innovations. Now, as World Food Programme Innovation Accelerator, we are based here in Munich, Germany, which is our base where we identify, support, and scale innovations. And we couldn't do this work without the pioneering support that we've received from the Free State of Bavaria, the Ministry of Economic Development and cooperation from Germany, the German Federal Foreign Office, the US government, USAID, the Netherlands and Luxembourg, who are our multi-year partners who really keep us not only funded, but also longer term, being us able to actually secure and keep on the working with startups and innovation that help some of the most vulnerable people. Now, our activities right now are across 4 pillars. The core of our work is still for the World Food Program, which you see on the left, which is running the accelerator program and a dedicated scaling program, together with a WFP Field Innovation Network and activities that we're doing across WFP. The second pillar is about innovative finance, frontiers innovations, where we specifically look into how can we leverage loan funding, or also a SheCan, which is a microfinance innovation for women who are currently cut off from financial systems. The third pillar is about what we call SDG acceleration. We are running a total of 14 accelerator programs for partners right now, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, also the German government, and most recently the governments of Luxembourg and also Austria on humanitarian innovation. So like, this is something that we are not only excited about, but that we really also believe in, that it's about impact. It's about impact for some of the most vulnerable. We need more support. There needs to be more action, because innovation have the advantage that they're oftentimes very small. You don't need that much funding, but the impact can be immense. And lastly, the fourth pillar is about how can we inspire others? How can we leverage platforms like in private sector with other entities like Google, the World Economic Forum, or YPO, to actually have others do the great work that we see from a humanitarian purpose or development purpose that's necessary. Now, WFP acceleration, how are we working? Just a little glimpse. I said already, we received over 800 applications for this round of pitches that you're going to see. So this is actually the 48th cohort that we're running right now. Woohoo! Yeah, so thank you. And then this is the grand finale of the Innovation Bootcamp that the 7 teams go through. This is typically a 7-day program where the teams get coaches from private sector, where we also partner with, specifically with experts from the innovation space, the technology space. And after the pitch event, they all can actually go into a sprint program where they typically receive up to $100,000 or more of grant funding, hands-on support, and also connections with our field offices and partners, with the best teams then going on to scale up enablement. Now, you might ask, can things actually go to scale? You know, like innovations that sounds like very small. Now, since we started, we have consistently doubled the number of people reached through the portfolio of innovations. So like starting in 2015, every single year, the impact has been doubled. Now, by the end of last year, we've reached a total of 9 million people whose life have been positively influenced. Now, that would include, for instance, 2 million people who have now access to fortified maize flour. So the children they don't have vitamin and mineral deficiencies, but they can lead a healthy life. That includes 1 million people that now have received cash transfers through blockchain that means there's better coordination, there's savings in those programs, but it's also 70,000 people that actually now grow, plants with hydroponics, like plants without soil. So there's the 9 million may not say enough behind the actual individual people, but there's every single person counts that we're able to influence and actually help them. And as a bonus, just to give you a nugget of success, is like the portfolio of innovation. They've raised a total of $180 million of grant funding so far. Now, you may recall what I just said before. We gave them $100,000. Now they've raised $180 million in total, which goes to show you can actually make something happen. You can go to scale. Now, before I go on, I want to make sure, and I'm picking up my notes so that I'm not getting this wrong. As we're a hybrid event, I want to acknowledge the presence of our partners and supporters here in the room. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting this straight. So we have actually several members of the Bavarian Landtag, the parliament, in here, representatives of the Free State of Bavaria, from the federal state of Germany, so the German Federal Foreign Office, the United States, Israel, Luxembourg, and Austria, as well as partners from Allianz, Amazon, BSF Stiftung, BCG, BMW Foundation, Google, Netlight, Munich Re, and other key investors and members of our Innovation Advisory Council. So, and I had to read this, I'm sorry for that, because I probably forgot somebody, I'm sorry if I did. The point is more, it's a group of people that we're bringing together. Thank you for burning for the issue of how can we make change happen? How can innovation and technology actually be the next step change in actually achieving our objectives? Now, it's my great pleasure to actually now invite our hosts to speak. Now, you've seen in the invitation we had asked State Minister Kannibal to be give an open speech. Now, she's been involved in a car accident, so we wish her and everybody involved like speedy recovery. But we have been able to actually get Mr. Martin Schöffel, who is the Vice Chairman of the Committee on Food, Agriculture and Forestry in the Parliament of Bavaria. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Martin Schöffel to give a couple of opening words. Mr. Schöffel, over to you.
Ja, thank you very much. Herzlichen Dank, Herr Kowatsch. Ich grüße Sie alle hier heute Abend in München. Welcome here in Munich and all over the world. Ich freue mich sehr, dass ich heute hier sein darf, zusammen mit Kollegen des Bayerischen Landtags. Klaus Steiner ist da, Christoph Skutella habe ich gesehen, Vertreter der Ministerien. Und freue mich zu sehen, Exzellenzen, Vertreter der Kirchen und insbesondere Sie, Herr Kowatsch, Herr Heinrich vom World Food Program und auch alle, die hier engagiert sind bei dem Innovation Accelerator. Eine großartige Geschichte. Sie haben ja schon hier Erfolge dargestellt. Und wir sind hier zwar in München, aber unsere Gedanken, unsere Bilder, die wir vor Augen haben, sind in der ganzen Welt. Und sicher haben Sie noch die eindringliche Rede von UN-Generalsekretär Antonio Guterres zum Auftakt der UN-Klimakonferenz in den letzten Tagen im ägyptischen Sharm el-Sheikh im Ohr. Unter anderem sagte er, der globale Kampf um das Klima wird in diesem entscheidenden Jahrzehnt gewonnen oder verloren werden. Wir brauchen alle Hände an Deck, hat er gesagt, um Gerechtigkeit und Ehrgeiz voranzutreiben. Ja, wir sind uns einig, wenn wir die globale Erderwärmung auf 1,5 Grad Celsius beschränkt halten wollen, dann wird das ein harter und mühsamer Weg. Die Menschheit ist herausgefordert wie wohl noch nie zuvor in ihrer Geschichte. Sie kennen die Fakten alle und die Dringlichkeit, mit der wir unsere Wirtschaft transformieren und unseren Lebensstil ändern müssen. Der Umgang mit der Natur und ihren Ressourcen weltweit ist nicht nachhaltig und heizt so die Klimakrise weiter an, befördert auch Artensterben und zerstört Ökosysteme. Die Einhaltung der Klimaziele und der Schutz unserer Lebensgrundlagen ist die eine riesengroße Herausforderung, die Anpassung an den Klimawandel die andere. Und wie mühsam das ist und welche großen Anstrengungen man unternehmen muss, merken wir jetzt selbst hier schon in Bayern, wenn wir an den Schutz unserer Wälder denken und den Umbau unserer Wälder voranbringen wollen, aber auch die Umstellung unserer Anbausysteme im Bereich von Züchtung und Bewässerung oder die Unterstützung unserer Landwirte durch neue Versicherungslösungen gegen Naturgewalten fordern uns gewaltig heraus. Es gilt an vielen Rädern zu drehen, neue Wege zu gehen, Geld in die Hand zu nehmen und das unter enormem Zeitdruck. Dabei sind wir hier in Deutschland, in Europa noch in der komfortablen Situation, dass wir ordentliche Selbstversorgungsgrade und eine sichere Ernährung haben, auch wenn wir auch in unseren Breiten auch Totalausfall von Ernten durch Trockenheit, durch Klimakrise, auch in Bayern, auch in Deutschland, auch in Europa erleben. Das ist aber in anderen Ländern des globalen Südens doch eine andere Herausforderung, die vom Klimawandel in weit höheren, zum Teil dramatischen Ausmaß betroffen sind. Dürren, Missernten, Wetterextremereignisse, Hitze verschärfen Ernährungskrisen und machen auch ganze Landstriche unbewohnbar. Dabei geht der CO2-Anstieg vor allem auf das Konto der Industrieländer, während die Folgen auch eben die Länder des globalen Südens zu tragen haben. Wir müssen die betroffenen Länder noch ambitionierter und konkreter bei der Anpassung an den Klimawandel unterstützen und Hilfe zur Selbsthilfe anbieten. Ich denke an eine Reise in diesem Jahr nach Namibia, nach Afrika, wo wir schon den Eindruck gewonnen haben, Kollege Klaus Steiner war dabei und ist oft in Afrika, wo wir den Eindruck gewonnen haben, es müssen noch mehr Anstrengungen unternommen werden, um das Land auch zu bewirtschaften, um landwirtschaftliche Aktivitäten zu unterstützen. Ich gebe Ihnen eine Zahl. Afrika stellt 1/4 der weltweiten Agrarfläche und davon sind nur 20% bewirtschaftet. Und deswegen können hier, glaube ich, noch viele Aktivitäten entwickelt werden, wohl wissend, dass auch hier nicht jede Ernte Höchsterträge bringen wird und große Herausforderungen mit dem Klima und der Bewässerung und vielem anderen mehr gegeben sind. Und wir haben auch den Eindruck gewonnen, Bildung ist die Grundlage für alles. Bildung ist die Grundlage für ein gutes Leben und auch für entsprechende landwirtschaftliches Know-how und Sicherheit für Investoren muss gegeben sein. Das World Food Program im Jahr 2020 mit dem Friedensnobelpreis geehrt, leistet hier mit dem Innovation Accelerator vorbildliche Arbeit, um neue Lösungen und Innovationen gegen den Klimawandel und gegen den Hunger zu finden. Herr Kowatsch, Sie haben große Erfolge bereits in Ihrer Einführung dargestellt und ich begrüße das außerordentlich, dass Sie die Bewältigung von Klimarisiken und erfolgreiche Entwicklungspolitik durch Innovationen noch stärker in den Fokus nehmen, auch mal neue Wege gehen und in solchen Veranstaltungen auch die Gedanken kreisen lassen und wir sicher heute auch zu neuen Innovationen und Ideen kommen werden. Die hohe Beteiligung an diesem Programm mit 820 Bewerbungen aus 106 Ländern zeigt, dass inzwischen viele Hände an Deck sind. Deshalb war die bayerische Staatsregierung von Anfang an begeistert, den Innovation Accelerator, diese außergewöhnliche Denkfabrik und Zukunftswerkstatt des Welternährungsprogramms 2015 hier in München, hier im Herzen Europas, hier eine Stunde von Rom entfernt, Herr Heinrich, anzusiedeln und unterstützt Ihre Arbeit tatkräftig. Wir haben hier ja einen Betrag im Haushalt eingeplant. Wir schätzen diese Partnerschaft außerordentlich und ich habe mir heute auch sagen lassen von den Ministerinnen, von Melanie Hummel, unserer bayerischen Außenministerin, und von Michaela Kanniber, unserer Landwirtschaftsministerin, von der ich Sie herzlich grüßen darf. Sie bedauert sehr, dass sie heute nicht da sein kann. Sie haben mir darauf hingewiesen, was die dramatischen Umstände sind, dass sie heute nicht da sein kann. Aber die Staatsregierung wird sie auch weiterhin unterstützen und auch für neue Projekte. Es sind zusätzliche Mittel auf jeden Fall vorstellbar. Das ist Ihnen ja auch schon signalisiert worden. Meine Damen und Herren, das ist die Botschaft des heutigen Abends. Engagierte, innovative Menschen können einen Unterschied machen, können wirklich was bewegen. In diesem Sinne bin ich gespannt auf die Ideen und die Projekte, die uns heute präsentiert werden. Und ich möchte mich nochmal herzlich bedanken für die Einladung und für Ihre großartige Arbeit. Viele Millionen Menschen profitieren bereits davon und es ist unser gemeinsamer Antrieb, unser gemeinsames Ziel, dass wir bei dieser Arbeit noch erfolgreicher sind mit innovativen Ansätzen, mit den Menschen, die wirklich hier mit Herzblut sich einbringen. Haben Sie einen schönen Abend, weiterhin viel Erfolg und Gottes Segen bei Ihrer Arbeit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schöffel. So like this, for these words of encouragement, but also of continued support. I think this is very well taken, but also like a mission that we take on with stride. Now, from World Food Program Corporate, and sometimes people are joking, like our headquarters, it's my great pleasure to actually introduce our next opening speaker, Bob Turner. He is Chief Operating Officer and Chief of Staff of the World Food Program. So he is actually the one who is providing the oversight and leadership to our regions and country, our field operations. So he's traveling a lot to the field, but it's a great pleasure to have you, Bob. Over to you.
Thank you, Bernhard. I want to thank you very much for the invitation, and the Executive Director extends his regards. I'm actually thankful that he's not here, because if he was here, I would not be allowed to come. However, I will apologize in advance because I am not the communicator that David Beasley is, but almost no one else is, so I take some small comfort in that. But he's so effective as a communicator that I think many people in this room would be able to actually repeat his talking points, because he has built, I think, a global understanding of how dire the situation really is right now. We are in the midst of a global food crisis. The numbers are absolutely staggering. There are 350 million people in the world who are not just hungry, but are actually marching towards starvation, which is the language that he uses. And that's not hyperbole, that's actually what's happening. And that is 2.5 times as many people as that was only 3 years ago. We're going to focus on climate change tonight, which is fantastic because that's one of the main drivers of hunger. But the needs are very, very real. And we, this year, we expect to receive about $12 billion, which is more money than the organization has ever received, and that's thanks to countries like Germany, as well as the US and Canada and others who have very much increased their support for WFP. But the problem is that even though we get more money, the gap between what we need and what we receive increases every year. And the problem of hunger is we're not going to humanitarian our way out of this problem. Just giving more food assistance is not going to solve this problem. We actually need to address the root cause. And so these kinds of events are incredibly important. Innovation is incredibly important, and we need to be able to promote it, and it needs to be practical, and it needs to be something that we can implement in the field. I had the pleasure recently in Ukraine of seeing a program called Building Blocks, which in that context is coordinating the distribution of cash, over $300 million so far, 18 different organizations, over 3 million beneficiaries, and it was able to deduplicate $35 million worth of transactions, which allowed an additional 185,000 beneficiaries to receive assistance. It is now the largest humanitarian implementation of blockchain technology in the world. And it was a pitch here in this event. So what we need is more of that. We need innovation that is practical, that we can scale and that we can roll out quickly. And so your support to the accelerator, your support to the innovation generally, to the World Food Program, are absolutely critical. And again, on behalf of the Executive Director, we thank you very much for your support, and we're really excited to see what is presented to us tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. And so now this is what you've actually come for to witness here. Let me introduce your moderator for tonight, my colleague Regina Schmidt. Regina, take us away.
No, I take that one. Okay, good afternoon and good evening to everyone. It's so exciting to be here. It's the second event that we have this year now in person, hybrid. It's just a difference. It's just a difference if you hear the people and you hear the people applauding. It's very nice. So I'm going to be the host for the rest of the evening. I'm going to invite you to listen to the amazing pitches. Before I'm starting, I would briefly like to explain. We know we have received 800 applications. We came down to 7. But how did we come down to those? And I think this is important to understand. So the accelerator has worked very closely with one of the units in headquarters, which is the Climate Change and Resilience Unit. And we were sitting together to understand what are the needs of the organization. Are there certain areas, because we do already quite a lot, are there certain areas where there are white spots? Where could innovation help? And WFP has a climate framework. We have 4 different categories. There are anticipation categories, so really, what can we do before? There are restore category, which means, are there any nature-based solutions which we can further strengthen? Protect means, the most vulnerable ones, how can we protect them? How can we build safety nets? And the last one is energize. How can we find clean cooking solutions for our school and our communities? So what we were doing along those 4 categories was really looking about, okay, where are white spots? Where could come innovation in? So you will see some solution you might say, well, why don't you have that other solution? Perhaps we have it already in our portfolio. So today is really, how can we help the organization to further improve, to further help to save lives and to change lives? Good. Now, how are we going to do it? What do you expect? We're going to have the first 4 pitches. Then we do the fireside chat. We have 2 very distinguished speakers. I'm really looking for that. And then we have the second part of the pitches. How does it work? Every pitcher has 3 minutes. Short, sharp, quick fire. They're going to tell you what is the problem, what's the solution about, and what is their ambition, their vision, where they want to go. Are you ready to start with the first 4? I think we have heard enough. I think we can start. Exciting. And I also see the first pitcher is ready. I'm very happy to welcome Hui Lin from the Etherisc team. You have the big task to be the first one, but you will be great. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Regina. So, hello everyone, I am Hui Lin from Etherisc. When was the last time you drove past some farmland and you thought to yourself, oh, how romantic the countryside is? Me, many times, passing by rice fields on the way to my late grandmother's house in Malaysia. But the fact is, farmers live risky lives. And most farmers in the world are actually smallholders, which means that they own farms about the size of 2 football fields. In sub-Saharan Africa, 97% of smallholder farms are uninsured because insurance is too expensive. Even when they're insured, claims payouts often arrive too late, 3 to 6 months after the end of the season, and the process is often not transparent for farmers. If a drought or a flood hits, by this time, the farmer may have lost their harvest, they may not be able to afford their inputs for the next season. Very few insurance providers in the world have cracked this triple challenge of fast, cheap, and transparent insurance. Now, in a world where you can lie down on your bed and tell the lights to switch off by themselves, this is embarrassing. How is this possible? Right? And the thing is, there has been innovations in recent years, and one really key innovation is parametric insurance. It's a kind of insurance where the claims is paid out based on a change in data, right? Maybe ignore the slides for a moment and listen to what I'm saying. So it's a kind of insurance where claims are paid out based on a change in data rather than the manual assessment process. And that's where we, Etherisc, come in. We developed an open source tech platform that basically allows insurance providers to collaborate and provide insurance in a cheaper, faster, and more transparent way. So how this works, right, is that a farmer pays the premium through their mobile wallets. When satellite data shows that rainfall is too high or too low, the farmer automatically receives the payments back in their mobile wallets. And we can do this mid-season, which means that a farmer can receive the money in time to replant or immediately after the season. So, which means maybe they can put food on the table even before humanitarian aid arrives. Second thing to note is that our platform is based on blockchain, which means that, firstly, you can transfer assets directly on-chain on the platform, and secondly, all policy transactions are tracked online, real-time, on the blockchain. So an insurer, a regulator, a funder, a farmer can technically check when and how much claims are being paid. So this makes it transparent. We are the first company to cover real-world insurance risks on the blockchain. So far, we've onboarded about 30,000 farmers and counting. We've managed to lower transaction costs by about 80%, which is good for the farmer, also good for the insurer. And most importantly, we've managed to achieve claims payout times of 24 hours to 5 days. So how can you work with us? Well, we have proven that our technology works, and we're now looking to scale up and also develop new projects in new areas. So if you are a funder, if you are an implementer working in the field of agricultural insurance, disaster-based financing, forecast-based financing, trigger-based humanitarian assistance, there are many ways in which you can partner with us or fund our work. So come and talk to us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Hui Lin. I think this was an excellent start. And I just would like to stress once again, why is Protect and the climate risk insurance so important for WFP? And just keep in mind, if there's any climate shock and they put smallholder farmers under pressure, many countries don't have the safety nets. The farmer is without money, they don't have anything, so they really need to have an insurance as a kind of a safety net. And this is how blockchain could help to get fast, transparent, cheap solutions. So that's really a great solution. Very happy. That's excellent. Good. Then I'm very happy to invite the second speaker on stage. It's Kabinda Mulala from the Emerging Cooking Solutions. Kabinda, the stage is yours.
Good evening. My name is Kabinda Mulala, representing Emerging Cooking Solutions Zambia. Did you know that unclean cooking has a larger global carbon footprint than that of the entire airline industry? With over 500,000 tons of charcoal consumed every year by households in Zambia. This has us as Emerging Cooking Solutions fighting a dual challenge of deforestation, which has also contributed to a lot of climate change and a lot of household health risks. Allow me to share this story with you. Imagine you and your spouse welcome your firstborn child. 2 weeks later, you decide to cook your dinner on a charcoal stove. You leave it alight to keep you warm through the winter night, only to wake up the following morning in hospital to the news that your wife and your child have died due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated case. Families in Zambia spend about a third of their income on cooking fuel. Our solution to this problem is sustainably sourced biomass. Biomass is a plant-based fuel. Biomass is a plant-based fuel used to produce heat. It is a clean fuel that we manufacture in form of supermoto pellets. Our pellets are not only cheaper than charcoal, but they are cleaner, faster, and more efficient. We deliver our model through what we call a utility model. This is where a customer pays a once-off fee of roughly $8 for an advanced biomass cooking stove, on a condition that they commit to buy a bag of pellets at roughly the same price on a monthly basis. This bag is able to last an average family of 6, meeting all their cooking needs. With the data collected from our stoves, we're able to trade them for carbon credits, which means we're able to supply our customers with stoves at a very low price. We are currently running one of the largest wood pellet factories in Africa, which is able to produce 12,000 tons of pellets a year. Our innovation has successfully been delivered in 3 countries, this being Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique, where we have over 2,000 connected stoves. We need your help. Firstly, to scale and impact the utility model with 350 customers. We are currently in the process of making a new stove called the Flexi Fuel Stove. This is a stove that will run on biomass such as maize cobs, seed pods, and seed shells. With the rural and urban solutions, together we can impact and save lives one stove at a time. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Excellent, Kabinda. This was an example from the category Energize. And why is clean cooking so important for WFP? We have heard about the environmental aspect, but you also have the gender aspect behind. It's mostly women who need to look for firewood, who need to cook. It's a health aspect. It's a cost aspect because the increasing cost of charcoal. So it's really something which is very critical for the most vulnerable ones. And the pellet solution is a great solution for the urban, semi-urban in areas where you really can have this. So that's very nice and exciting. But now we're coming to the next picture, and I'm very happy to welcome Peter Nechera. He is from the MegaGas project. Peter, the stage is yours.
Thank you, thank you. Our mom is crying. My mom, she's crying. My name is Njeri Peter Mwangi. I come from Kenya. I come from a family of 9, 7 brothers, 2 sisters. I grew up in a place called Soweto, and this was our kitchen. 4 million people die annually from indoor pollution. Apart from that, we have a big problem with plastic waste, and people are cutting trees for fuel. So many problems, right? But I am a leader. I have a solution for these problems. At our company, MegaGas, we refine and recycle plastic waste through a clean process to produce clean and affordable energy for low-income families in Kenya. Our process is a very frontier process. We work with community-based organizations who collect the plastic waste. They bring into our plant. Then through the value chain of the innovation, we're able to harvest the gas, compress into gas canisters, and sell at very affordable price points. The value that we give to our customers is 1, our gas is 50% cheaper. 2, it has a higher calorific value, and that means it burns for long and also fast. Third, our customers can be able to come to our community kitchen where they come with their food and they're able to cook. And also, we play a very crucial part in closing the plastic waste loop and to make sure that this plastic, they never go back to the fields again. We have some traction. About 1,400 people have been able to come to our plant for them to be able to buy our gas. We have been able to also to recycle about 114 tons of plastic waste each month. And over the last 2.5 months, we have had about 4,200 people who have come to the community kitchen so that they can be able to cook. We also have some good traction in terms of our climate. And the first one is that we are stopping about 14,000 kgs of CO2 from being emitted into the air. And these calculations have been done at co2.aumsat.com. And we project that once we scale, we are able to stop about 2.9 million kgs of CO2 from being emitted into the air. Another thing is that we are protecting the life on land and also our fish. And we also play a very critical part in stopping people from cutting trees. I think I need to go back. All this is not possible without our amazing team. We have a mix of engineers and salespeople. As a team leader, I'm very committed and very passionate so that we can be able to scale our work and serve more people. We have our partners who have been able to fund us and also support us towards our scaling from all over the world, and we are very happy because of that. We are here to ask for $100,000, and this money is going to be used for us to be able to scale and so that we can serve more people through our community kitchen. Ladies and gentlemen, my mom is not crying. She's not crying because she has access to clean and affordable energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Peter. I think that was really excellent. Let's go to the next one. I just wanted to explain a little bit how we're coming to those solutions. I told you that we have worked together with the headquarter unit, but this on Kenya is a very nice example as well. A couple of months ago, I had a discussion with the country director, and we were discussing what are the problems in the country, in the region, where could innovation help? And the lady was saying to me, listen, Regina, there are several topics, but one topic is really about plastic waste. There's a lot of plastic waste. If we can find a way to transform the plastic waste in energy, if we can create jobs with that, that would be amazing, not only for Kenya, but beyond. And this is the starting point for us. It's a very concrete problem. Okay, how can we help? Are there any innovative solutions around? And then the scouting team from us, they were looking proactively, what is around? Can we motivate any innovators to apply to us, to work with us? And this is, after a competitive process, we came up with the solution from Peter, MegaGas, and Today, Peter was on stage. That's how it works. So now the next steps can come. But just that you understand a little bit how we're working. Good. Then the next one, also a very exciting solution. I'm happy to welcome Riddhish Soni from the team Aumsat Technologies. Riddhish.
Imagine you had been given the responsibility of setting up a civilization on the moon. What would be the most essential resource you would look for sustaining life? Yes, you are absolutely right. It is water. Water on the moon was an interesting discovery. After Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, the first signatures of water were discovered by the Chandrayaan-1 lunar mission of India in 2009. So using the same motivation behind the technology that was used to discover water on the moon, and considering the moon to be an arid place, we shall see how the same technology can be used to detect the smallest droplet of water present underneath your feet. Isn't this something wonderful? Isn't this something unique? Welcome to the Internet of Groundwater. Welcome to Aumsat. Did you know 3 out of 5 Iraqis are facing severe water issues? This water issues has led to a massive food crisis, which in turn has led to a massive humanitarian migration crisis. As the population of Iraq is projected to reach 50 million by the year 2030, every drop per crop will count. So in order to mitigate this problem, using advanced earth imaging methods, we detect the changes in groundwater levels that directly results then tell us the amount of groundwater exploitation happening in a particular area. This in turn helps to provide judicious water usage for smallholder farmers. We have a spectrum of products ranging from groundwater conservation to monitoring groundwater exploitation and groundwater exploration to solar pump site suitability, thereby providing a comprehensive solution for the energy-water nexus. We are different because unlike traditional costly and time-consuming survey-based methods, we are able to provide all our services with high precision and 75% reduced cost logistically and economically. Our marketing plan is to connect our impact to the smallholder farmers by connecting and building strategic and strong partnerships with national and international organizations. At present, we have already completed our operations with 6 countries globally. We are a team of scientists, engineers, and big thinkers passionate about making ideas accessible and actionable. Having been trained by ISRO, NASA, UNOSA, Google, and Harvard School of Design, our consistent foundations are built on precision, innovation, and trust. Having done ideation, brainstorming, and market research, we have generated revenue of $100,000 and have created 3,200 water points and impacted thousands of lives of smallholder families. As our current discussions with the WPF and Ministry of Iraq is going on, we plan to work in the city of Karbala and impact a population of $1.2 million. Come, join us in making the irrigation infrastructure of Iraq resilient and sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, I mean, this is also an excellent innovation, really great, because water scarcity is a big problem in Iraq, but it's also in many other neighboring countries. So if we can find a way for more efficient and effective groundwater management, I think this would just help many, many people. And I'm very happy to see that the country office is highly interested to partner. Yeah, you see already, we are ready for the next step, and I'm happy to come to the stage, Jose Schade. He's gonna be the moderator for the Fireside Chat, and he's an innovation venture. You don't need that one. He's an innovation venture consultant from the Accelerator, and I'm giving the stage to you.
Well, welcome everybody for the Fireside Chat, and thank you for being here. Tonight we have 2 distinguished guests. We have Mrs. Suzanne Fries-Geyer, Humanitarian Director at the General Federal Foreign Office, and Mrs. Edith Haynes, Country Director at Rwanda Country Office. Thank you so much for being here. Please. Yes. Yes. You'll be surrounded by me. All right. So for this Fireside Chat, we will be asking one question for each of our panelists, and then we will end with a brief lightning round before heading over back to Regina. Without further ado, Mrs. Friesgeier, Germany is a leader in innovation and climate spaces. Can you tell us a little bit more, how do you see the connection between Germany and the German humanitarian work and climate change? And maybe share with us a little bit on the innovative initiatives you're doing?
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. So I'm really delighted to be here because the German Foreign Office founded this project, Innovation Accelerator, from the very beginning, because we think that it's really key that we have innovation, especially with regard to the now all-time humanitarian high of needs. So let me make 3 quick points to your question. So first is climate change is one of the drivers. So we need innovative, practical, and scalable solutions. So what is Germany doing? So first, anticipatory action. This might seem like a buzzword, but it's not. It's really working. So we have so many projects around the world that show that we have to act before the crisis hits. And WFP is a good partner. For example, in Bangladesh, they provided cash assistance to families, and they could buy food and then bring their families and, of course, the animals to a secure place before the monsoon hit. And we have a report by FAO telling us that because they prevented a locust impact, they saved $1.7 billion. So that means it's not only more dignified, it's also, in the long run, less expensive. So what do we have to do? We have to scale it up. So Germany has now committed itself to give at least 5% of its overall budget to anticipatory action. But we need others on board as well. And that's why I'm quite proud that we got the G7 foreign ministers to commit in a statement that they will sort of do more in the field of anticipatory action. But to really scale it up, you need reliable data for the triggers. So what we also fund is the so-called Complex Analytics Fund, which collects analyzes and shares data for anticipatory action. So, and what is also important, and we heard this in the pitches, you have to make humanitarian assistance greener. So we also invest in, for example, solar panels in refugee camps. So, and this is my 3rd point, we have to find new ways of cooperation and ways of how we do things. So we have to come up with solutions that bring other donors on board. And this is why I really like the Share the Meal app that was created here in the accelerator as well, because this really helped. And we, as humanitarians, we have to better coordinate with the guys from the stabilization part and from the development part to really bring more resilience to people. And what is maybe the most important point, bring in local people, because they know what is really needed. They have the smart ideas, as we have heard. And so we, not only in the implementation, but also in the design and decision-making process. And that's why I really like the pitches, because this shows here are the practitioners, they know what to do. And so really, I'm looking forward to the rest of the evening.
Thank you so, so much. This was extremely interesting to hear. Mrs. Haynes, I mean, climate change is one of the main drivers of hunger. Based on your extensive field experience, can you tell us a little bit, how can innovation be a disruptor for the climate change crisis?
Thank you.
this working? Yes, it is. Yeah, and several of the speakers already talked about the relationship between climate change and the work of WFP. And as you said, there's basically two key drivers for hunger and food insecurity. And that's conflict, and we have quite a bit of that in the world these days, and it's climate change. And what we also typically see is that it's the most vulnerable that always get affected the most, because they don't have the coping mechanisms to really protect themselves against the shocks that are happening. So the relevance is very clear. And just to give you also an example of the size of this, we know that if the world would heat up by 2 degrees Celsius, that an additional almost 190 million people will become food insecure. So the impact and the relevance for WFP is very, very clear. So talking about Rwanda, where I'm working, Rwanda is a small, quite stable, landlocked country. Anything we can do there to kind of reduce the dependency on transport and fuel that has become very, very expensive, but also fertilizer, which is really, there's a shortage worldwide these days, will have an impact on the carbon footprint as well. So in Rwanda, although it is a stable and quite prosperous country, still 1 in 5 people are actually food insecure. And from a survey we did, we also know that 40% of all the households in the countries on an annual basis are impacted by climatic shocks. Very often very localized, floods, landslides, droughts, these types of things. So just a few examples from Rwanda. One is the work we do on conservation agriculture, where we're trying to incentivize the private sector to provide services and awareness around conservation agriculture. Another one, for those of you that were in the office this afternoon and took part in the presentations, you have heard about aflatoxin. And I have to start by explaining what aflatoxin is. Aflatoxin is a fungus, a toxic fungus, which appears in a lot of the cereals and also nuts. And it is a very unhealthy toxin for both animals and human. Now, aflatoxin is a project which was supported by the accelerator as well. They use a machine that can detect aflatoxin, which you cannot see with the naked eye, and kind of clean, we work in the maize value chain, can clean the maize up to 90% of the aflatoxin. So a huge impact, because what happens if you don't do that? In principle, the farmer should just throw away all that, the whole batch of maize. In reality, that's not happening. What you see happening is they dump the maize for a very cheap price, and it goes back into the food chain with very negative health and nutrition impact. Another example, my last one, is linked to this, and it's still in the pipeline with the accelerator, and we call it the rebug to debug. And what it's doing, it's using the endemic black soldier fly larvae that eat bio-waste, including this aflatoxin-infested maize that cannot be used for anything else. They digest it, and the nice thing is it comes out without the aflatoxin, and then that can be used to either use as a biofertilizer or as a protein for animal feed. So you see how you can make a kind of circle which is good for the environment, good for the farmers, and it's really very interesting innovations going on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's basically how closing the value chain between detecting the aflatoxin and then using that aflatoxin. Quite interesting. All right, now for our quick lightning round. What would be the one advice that you would like to share with our 7 pitchers tonight?
So, develop solutions for the people, push for demand-driven solutions, and think big, but keep it simple. What does that mean? So, hunger is usually an affordability, but also a distribution problem. So while thinking about technology solutions, you should always keep in mind that there is an allocation system, which you should sort of keep in mind with your ideas and the needs and day-to-day needs of the people.
Thank you. Thank you. Very inspiring. Think big, keep it simple. Amazing. Thank you. Mrs. Haynes?
I cannot top that, but okay, let me try. So for WFP, innovation is kind of it's in our DNA. We have always been innovating, and the relevance is that we are not relevant if we don't keep on innovating and adapting. And it's something that we have. I've been working with WFP for 25 years. I've seen that from the start until now. What is important for the pitchers is, what I've also seen in my work is that it mostly comes from the ground level, from the technical people, the people working on the ground. They see where the gaps are, but they also see the opportunities. So don't wait until somebody up there tells you what to do. It's really most often from the ground up. That's where it's realistic, implementable, and useful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to sharing your knowledge and experience. That's it for our Fireside Chat, and over back to Regina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was very inspiring, very interesting discussion. So thanks for joining us on stage. Now, I would like to show you a video that we have produced, a climate innovation video, which showcases a couple of our projects in the field, but also gives some words of the ED. So let's run the video.
We're facing unprecedented challenges to global food security right now all over the world. So in the past year alone, just to give you some examples, the toxic combination of conflict, climate change, and COVID has plunged nearly 300 million more people into food insecurity.
Yes, no, this is quite interesting. So 3 out of the 4 projects which you have just seen, they had been also in the Bootcamp. They had been here on a pitch event, and now they are in the sprint program. So we're working with them together and further evolve and really build a sustainable business model. Very exciting. Good. Are you ready for the next 3 pitches? The next one can come. I think there are some people who are very impatient there. And I'm very happy to welcome the next pitcher, who is Daisy Tanya Schöffel from the Africa GreenTec project. Daisy, please.
Thank you. My name is Tanya, and I represent Africa GreenTec. Exactly a year ago, I moved from my hometown, Hamburg, Germany, to our headquarters, Dakar, to work with Africa GreenTec. Since then, I've been working in the field of women empowerment. I've been traveling a lot through the Sahel, and what I didn't know is that Madagascar is actually quite similar. In particular, the south of Madagascar is quite similar to the Sahel. Right now, Madagascar is facing a severe drought, and a lot of people are suffering. This is Vaha. Vaha is one of many women who travel long distances to the shores to buy fresh fish and then carry it all the way back to the local markets, sometimes up to 20 kilometers. Then she has to prepare the fish and hope she can sell it. If she cannot sell it, she wastes a lot of money, the fish, and of course her time. This is very frustrating. And this is something that is not only happening in Madagascar, it's actually happening throughout the whole of Africa. According to FAO, 40% of the fruit and vegetable harvest goes to waste. Africa GreenTec has come up with a solution. We have developed 100% solar-powered community cold storage, which allows the people to store their perishable food 24/7. We call it the Cooltainer. With the Cooltainer, we aim to reduce food waste drastically. We reduce food waste drastically, and we are trying to save up to 300 tons of harvest a year. What excites me the most is that we'll be able to help women like Vaha to sustain their own business. And we will also employ two women to operate the Cooltainer. And one of the most important things is we are tackling one of the biggest issues of our time, the climate crisis. With the Cooltainer, we will be able to avoid 11 tons of carbon emissions every year. Africa GreenTec has been around since 2016 and mainly been focusing on rural electrification through solar energy. We've been active in 9 countries and we have 120 employees. And we've been able to provide 65,000 people with electricity. Now we want to start our pilot project with the Cooltainer in Madagascar. We need 500,000 euros to install 10 Cooltainers. We want to test the Cooltainers, our different prototypes, different use cases, and also different locations within Madagascar. Sorry. We want to, oh gosh, I have a... The Cooltainer is a very sustainable solution, but it's not only another investment opportunity. We do really believe that we'll be able to connect to different communities and empower them by bringing them back time, money, and in particular, dignity. Thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot, Tanya. No, I think that's an excellent idea. And it's quite interesting. If you look at the carbon emissions, one of the levers is really to reduce food losses. So what is lost after the harvest, and food waste. And food losses, it's sometimes basic infrastructure, cool storage, ambient storage, which just is not existing. So in order really to provide the necessary storage would help in order to reduce carbon emissions. So I think it's an excellent initiative. And we are coming to the next picture, which is Sanoussi Diakite, and he is from the Fonio machine project. Sanoussi, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Bonsoir. Guten Abend. Are you wondering what I'm holding? This is Fonio. Fonio is cereal native in West Africa, in 16 countries. It's a very nutritional crops and easy to grow and can grow to poor and rocky soil. But now the production is very low, less than 1% of total production of cereal in West Africa. The producer turned away this crop because it's very hard to process it in hand. It takes for women maybe 4 hours for only 5 kilos. And there's not mechanical solution. My mother is a producer of Fonio, and I see how does it of the hard work for her. And when I became a mechanical engineer, I wanted to create a machine. This is the machine. The machine, the first Fonio husking machine, 30 times faster than hand, and can shelling 5 kilos in 8 minutes. And now we have 300 machines through 8 countries. That's the beginning. And towards the food security, and to improve it, to improve again the income for young boy and others. And we now going around the world, everyone is talking about Fonio. And we need to go to scale. And now to go to $700,000 for to make 3,000 machines for to change the life of 1 million people in West Africa with partnership. And we join us to do that. We have doing the tiny grain, the greatest cereal in Africa. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Sanoussi. I think this is really a great example. We have a product, Fonio, which is a traditional crop. It's easy to plant. It's healthy. It is climate resistant, but it's extremely hard to labor. It's extremely hard to process. So an innovation really can help in order to bring back one of the old traditional crops. Innovation can be the game changer here. So that's really amazing to see. Good. Then, last but not least, we have Janet Manjoy from the Blue Marble Microinsurance Brokerage. Janet.
Thank you, Regina. Hi, everyone. I'm Janet Manjoy, Head of East and Southern Africa Blue Marble Microinsurance. Meet Tumegabole. She is a farmer who waited for rainfall, but it wasn't sufficient to obtain food for her cattle. She lost all of her cattle, which is the source of her livelihood, because of drought. Drought is estimated to displace 700 million people by 2030. In 2022, Ethiopia experienced the worst drought in the last 40 years, which led to more than 20 million people receiving food aid. Low-income food producers worldwide are being impacted by climate change, which causes their income to reduce and lowers their food security. I know of these challenges as I come from a family of smallholder farmers, and for my family that meant lost opportunities. My grandfather had to sell family land to take my father to school, and my mother was out of school for several years. That's why this solution is so important to me, and I'm proud to tell you what our organization Blue Marble is doing. Traditional insurance schemes available in the market tend to be inefficient and take a long time to pay. Blue Marble provides a simple and cheap insurance product that makes quick payouts that covers against drought, cyclones, and excess rainfall. The product is designed based on the type of crops, their growth cycle, and the climate conditions of the farms. Farmers that we're working with have told us that with the cushion insurance is providing, that they're able to increase the size of their farms. We provide an end-to-end solution to our farmers, starting with understanding the farmers' needs, product design, educating the farmers, to structuring the insurance. Blue Marble aims to reach those that have no access to insurance and provide a safety net to farmers that are being impacted by climate change. What sets us apart is we take a farmer-first approach. We are experts in insurance, can work anywhere in the world, and we provide access to international risk capital. We have experience working with large multinational organizations such as the WFP and have implemented solutions in Zambia, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. Year on year, the number of farmers that we have covered has increased at a phenomenal 200% because our products work. We have impacted more than 300 people with our products. We have created a safety net of more than $30 million for the farmers we work with. We operate in 11 countries and have strategic partnerships with organizations such as the WFP, the International Fund of Agricultural Development, the Swiss Capacity Building Facility, and Nespresso, amongst others. We want to support farmers in Ethiopia that are being impacted by climate change. We are excited to explore developing a solution that covers 20,000 farmers in a 6-month pilot and secure support in $100,000. We also seek partnerships with governments, international and national organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Janet. I think that was another nice example from the category Protect, really like weather-based insurance models. And they ensure like the quick payout if there's any drought, cyclone, or heavy rainfall. So, I mean, I'm very impressed also about the figures where they created already 30 million of safety nets. I think this is just wonderful. Yeah, this is pretty much the end of the 7 pitches. So for me now, it's just... next slide. Yes. So, if you want to get involved with the teams, there are 2 options. So the people in the room have it very easy because the 7 pitchers are here, they can talk to them. But if you are online and really want to get in contact with the teams, you will see in the chat function, there's a link to a Google document. So you can write your questions, your comments, if you have any offering directly in, and we link you to the team. So you see the 7 pitchers here with their names, with their teams. So really, if you want to engage with them, please do it. We are always very happy to have mentors, to have financial partners, to get advice, expertise. So this is the opportunity for the people in the room. There's a QR code here on the side, on the columns. You also can scan that if you want to write something, but you have the opportunity to meet them in person. Yes, and now it's a big moment to say thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate and thank you to the pitchers. This is well deserved because I really have seen them working hard. That was amazing, all the commitment and passion they have shown. The second one, I really would like to thank you also all the mentors. We had more than 20 mentors engaged during the bootcamp. So every team has 2-3 mentors who supported them, who gave their expertise, their knowledge. I mean, people do this additional to the work, so that's just amazing. And last but not least, there's a big organization team in front of, but also behind the scenes. So you see a lot of hands here running around and helping to make that happen. So really would like to thank you the team for their commitment and dedication. That was too fast. If you want to stay connected with us, there are our contact details. Join us in Twitter or LinkedIn. There's amazing content on how to disrupt hunger, about our solutions, thought leadership, so really stay connected with us. Yeah, and this is the moment for me to say goodbye. For the people in the room, please stay here. We still have the opportunity to connect. But for the virtual audience, thank you very much for joining us. It was great for having you.